All right, here are your notes for multiplying and dividing decimals. First thing I want you to do is I want you to write a note to yourself. Whenever you multiply decimals, you need to move numbers to the right. So we're going to move both of these numbers as far to the right-hand side as you possibly can. But before we do that, let me get a different marker here. Hold on one second. All right, so let's pretend this line over here is the end of my paper, okay? I'm going to do 0.67 times 0.812. So as you notice, the decimals are not lined up here, okay? But they don't need to be. Your numbers just need to be as far to the right-hand side as possible, okay? Once we do that, now we can actually multiply, just like you normally would. So 2 times 7 is 14. Carry the 1. 2 times 6 is 12, plus 1 is 13. You drop a 0. 1 times 7 is 7. 1 times 6 is 6. Drop 2 zeros, because now you're on your third number. 8 times 7 is 56. Carry a 5. 8 times 6 is 48, plus 5 is 53. Now you have all your numbers. Now you add everything up. 4 plus 0 is 4. 3 plus 7 is 10. Carry my 1. That's 12, that's 14, carry another one, that's 4, and then 5. Now, the other key when you're multiplying, so let's write ourselves another note, is you want to move the decimal X number of spaces. So it's going to just depend on each problem how many spaces you move over, but here's how you figure it out. So look at your original numbers. You have 0.67. So 1, 2, numbers after the decimal, and 1, 2, 3. So altogether, that is 5 spaces that you have to move. So you go to your answer, okay? Your decimal's at the end, and you move up to 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my answer is 0.54404. So the amount of spaces you move is dependent on how many spaces you have behind each of your decimals, okay? So now we're going to move on to dividing real fast. So we have 6 divided by 0.25. So 6 goes on the inside because that came first, and 0.25 goes on the outside. And the good thing about this is so what you want to do here is you want to move the decimal as close to the house as possible. The house is your division sign. So I'll go over in green, that's your house. So move your decimal as close to the house as you can, and then you got to do the same thing down here, and then you bring your decimal straight up, so my decimal is right here, okay? So let's make another note, and let's say, when dividing, move decimal to house, okay? So now that we've done that, now we can divide. 25 obviously does not go into 6, so what we're going to do is we're going to add some zeros in here, okay? So 25 can't go into 6, but 25 can go into 60, and it goes into 60 twice. So I'm going to put a 2 up here. That's 50. Subtract, that's 10. Bring down my 0. 25 goes into 100. I know that that is 4 times, and that's exactly 100. I don't have a remainder, so I'm done. My answer is 0. So after you move your decimal towards the house, you got to do it inside also, and whatever spaces you have, fill them in with zeros, and then do division just like you're used to. All right, here's your next one. We have 1.2 divided by 0.03, so I'm going to put 0.03 on the outside. On the inside is going to be 1.2. I'm going to move my decimal on the outside as close to the house as possible, so 2 spaces. Move that 2 spaces, bring it up, fill in with a 0, okay? So now on the outside, instead of that being 0.03, it's just a regular 3. So 3 can't go into 1, but 3 can go into 12 4 times. That's exactly 12. So you subtract, you get 0, okay? And then you bring down another 0, and then I got to put my 0 up there, so my answer would be 40, okay? So whenever you move your decimal on the outside, the number on the outside should now be a whole number, okay? Let's try one more example. So we have 8 divided by 0.14, so 8 is on the inside, because that came first. 0.14 is on the outside. I'm going to move my decimal over as close to the house as possible. Move it over here, bring it straight up, fill in zeros. That's always your first step when you're dividing. So 14 can't go into 8, but 14 can go into 80. Let's see how many times. Just like when we were doing it with normal numbers, I'm going to write my multiples over here. So I have 14, I have 28, I have 42, then I have 56, then I have 70, then I have 84. That should be good. I know 14 can go into 80 1, 2, 3, 5 times. So I'm going to put a 5 up here. I know that that number is 70. I subtract, that's 10. Bring down this 0. So now I have 14 into 100. So I need to keep going on my multiple list over here. So that's going to be, let's see, 98, I believe. Let's just make sure. Yep, that's right. So 14 can go into 100. The number is going to be 98, but that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. Okay. You subtract, you get 2. You don't need to put a decimal because the decimal is already there. So you're going to bring down a couple of zeros. 14 goes into 21 time. That's 14. I subtract, I get 6. I bring down my other 0. 14 goes into 60 4 times, and that is 56. And I'm done because I've already gone 2 decimal places, so my answer is 57.14. Okay? I want to do one more multiplication example that I want you to take notes over. So we are going to do, let's do 0.56 times, and we'll do an x, so we're just not confused. And then we'll do 378. All right? So try this one on your own, and then listen to me go over it and see if we got the same answer. So I'm going to write it, first of all, with all my numbers going as far right as humanly possible. So I have 1.378 and 0.56. I would always recommend putting the smaller numbers, like the one that has the least number of decimal spots on the bottom, just to make your life a little bit easier. We are going to multiply now. 6 times 8 is 48, so I carry the 4. 7 times 6 is 42, plus 4 is 46. 6 times 3 is 18, plus 4 is 22. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8. I add my 0, and now I do the same thing with my 5. 5 times 8 is 40, carry the 4, already done that. 5 times 7 is 35, plus 4 is 39. Make that 3. 5 times 3 is 18, plus 3 is 21. And 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. Now I add everything up, 8, 6, 11. Okay, and here's the last step. You count how many spots behind the decimals you had. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so my decimal starts back here, and I need to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my final answer is actually 0.80168. All right, so I wanted you to take notes over all those examples. We'll talk more about it in class tomorrow, but here's kind of your intro video. I'll see you tomorrow in class.